Hello everyone and welcome to Edusurg Clinics. We continue our research publishing series and this is a very important topic, how to write an original article. Original article is one of the most important types of publications that you will be doing, as your thesis is also an original article. So we have divided this video into parts and focused on each of the headings of original article separately. Okay. So we will see what is an original article, the structure of an original article. And in this video, we will dive into the introduction, how to write an introduction of the original article and the observation and results part of the original article. We will also see some templates for both these headings. So stay tuned. So what is an original article? Essentially, the thesis that you do in your PhD or in your PG, post graduation or super speciality is basically an original article or multiple original articles that can be made from the thesis. Okay, it is the summarization of findings of your original research. That is what an original article is. Any study that you have done, okay, with a specific aim, objective, and a research hypothesis. Now, you can have negative outcomes or positive outcomes. What that means is that if you intended to study, say, the effects of a medicine, the medicine may not be effective or it may be effective, right? So, both these are important observations and both these can become original articles. So, a specific aim and objective, or if you're observing some point or you are analyzing data, say outcomes of a surgery or outcomes of treatment of a particular disease, all these are original articles. Sometimes you may also be doing some new intervention, such as a new medicine versus an old medicine in a particular disease. That kind of study can also become an original article. Now, what are some of the topic ideas that I have seen, and I have made some original articles on these topics? You can see that an outcome analysis of surgery. Say you do gallbladder surgery routinely, an outcome analysis of your own cases can become an original article. Say correlation between a blood marker and disease severity. If you have a lot of patient population focused on a particular disease like say cholecystitis or pancreatitis, okay, you can see correlation between a blood marker such as CRP and procalcitonin, and you can assess disease severity. So this is also an idea for an original article. Other is complications of a surgery and its management, like one we have done is on pancreatic fistula management. Okay, then indications of a particular procedure in a particular patient set. Say there is a rare procedure, something like a fistulojejunostomy that we did on persistent pancreatic fistula is an example of this topic idea, that you do a particular procedure in a particular patient set. So you describe the indications for that procedure in the patients that you have treated. Understand that this is not a literature review article, this is an original article. So all these topics, if you have done on your patients, okay, if you have managed patients of these topics, you can present an original article. Okay, long-term outcomes of disease. Say if you are following up non-alcoholic fatty liver, okay, which is now known as steatotic liver disease. So if you are following these patients for long term, that again can be an original article. Study of a new medicine or management of a particular disease in a particular department, okay, single team studies, right? All these are also original articles. Now the building blocks or the structure of an original article differ from case report and case series, and each part needs proper structure and planning. We have seen case report and case series so far, and if you remember, the word length was not more than 1000 to 1500 words, whereas an original article, roughly on an average, on the basis of various journals that I have published or submitted or reviewed, the length of an original article can be somewhere between 3500 to 5000 words, right? So each part of an original article needs proper structure and planning. What are the parts? The introduction, then the material and methods. Understand that the material and methods is one of the most important parts of an original article. It is often ignored in teaching, but material and methods is one of the most important parts Even when we are reviewing an original article, if the material methods are not good, we may reject the article. Observation and results is the fairly simple part of an original article because it's analysis of your own data. Then you have discussion and then you have conclusion. Of course, after that you have references, the compliance to ethical standards and so on. But basically these are the 6 key parts of an original article, and we will see each of them one by one in this and upcoming 1 or 2 separate videos on original article. So now focusing on introduction, I always say that you can divide your introduction into around 3 paragraphs, okay? And the division is such that your first focus should be on the topic, okay? So introduce your focus initially. Don't wait and don't beat around the bush when you begin writing an original article. The point of focus should be introduced in the first paragraph itself. Okay. Introduction, I like to divide into 3 small paragraphs, and this is around 100 to 150 words. Example, when you have, say, outcomes of a surgery, okay, as an original article, as we saw in the topic ideas, your first line itself can start as role of surgery in that disease, okay? Whereas on the other end, say you are discussing role of medicine in a particular disease, then your first introductory paragraph can be with the disease, okay? So you start with the diseases, then introduce treatments and then go to medicine. Whereas if you are assessing outcomes of surgery in a particular disease, then you can start with role of surgery itself. So don't beat around the bush. That is something that puts off all the reviewers as well as the readers. That is one of the most important points that you can focus on in the first paragraph itself of the original article. Okay. In second paragraph, you can focus on the lacuna in the existing literature or the need for your study, right? So if you remember in case report and case study, we were starting with the need, okay, in introduction. Whereas here you can put 3 separate paragraphs. The first paragraph can be introducing the key point of your entire article. If it's outcomes of surgery, then surgery is your key point. If it's a role of a specific treatment in a disease, then that disease is your key point, right? Now, in the third paragraph, you summarize the aim objectives of your research hypothesis. Okay. So this is how you can structure an introduction. I will show you an example of how we write introduction. Very important tips here are do not digress from the topic. Often we have seen while reviewing that introduction is 500 words. Okay. Do not do that because your key parts of your article are material and methods, observation and discussion. Okay. So save words for that part. In introduction, be concise so that you can finish the introduction in not more than 3 paragraphs and not more than 200 words. We see an example. This is one of the original articles that I had published. You can see the title is Role of Preoperative CRP and Procalcitonin as Predictors of Post-Pancreatico-Duodenectomy Infective Complications. So basically a study on Whipple, right? It is a prospective observational study. So important points are this is a study on Whipple procedure and it is a study only on the infective complications, and we are studying the role of CRP and procalcitonin. So there are 3 important points in this title. Also the study design is mentioned, so a good title. But 3 important points, like I said, your introduction hence should focus only on these 3 points. So if you see the first paragraph, it is on pancreaticoduodenectomy. And the second and third line itself focus on the complications of this procedure and then on the infective complications. So no beating around the bush. In the first paragraph itself, the focus is very clear that we are focusing on a surgery. The morbidity and the infective complications are clear, right? Then when we see the blue part, that is the second paragraph beginning, we have shown the lacuna. No definite preoperative markers are available so far, right? So the lacuna in the existing literature in the first half of the second para. And the last part is the aim and objective of this research. That is, the present study evaluates the role of so and so as predictive markers of infective complication. So very simple introduction, to the point and focused, and that's why you accepted in a good impact factor journal, Indian Journal of Gastroenterology, right? So this is how you can write the introduction. Now going into observation and results, in most journals, this section is mentioned as results. Again, we will go in how we mention the results. The overview, the result has to be your own study outcomes. And that is why this is the only part of your article which will have no references, because this is your own study outcome. A structure is important in results. Otherwise, this is a very difficult part to write. If you are summarizing your thesis, you will not understand what to include, what not to include, because a thesis has 60 pages of results, whereas an article has to be finished in 4 or 5 tables. So structure is very important. And remember that results have no references. When we go to writing tables, the tables that I usually include in an original article will be one on patient demography data. We will see examples of all these tables in the upcoming slides. But just to summarize, the first will be patient demography, second will be clinical and lab data, third will be how you have managed, fourth will be on post-operative or post-intervention follow-up, and fifth will be on long-term outcomes if you have the long-term outcomes. In figure and charts, we look at the statistical analysis, and if you are focusing on survival of your patient's long-term outcomes, survival curves can be included. Remember that once you have these tables and charts, do not describe the entire table in results so that your word count is taken care of. Focus only on key points that add to discussion and conclusion. So from the entire table, if 2 or 3 points are very important and correlate to your study title and you are going to use those points in discussion, these are the points that you can mention as shown in the table. So and so point is important, okay, and why it is important, right? So in results, you cannot compare with literature. You can just put that these were your results, but these form the basis for your discussion, right? So that is what is very important to understand. Don't describe the entire table and figure. Focus only on key points. Remember that the original article, the entire submission folder will have a lot of files. So caption and number the tables and figures appropriately so that you don't submit the things in a wrong order. So let us see some example for results, and you can see these templates in the book Scientific Research Publishing. Like I said, the first table is usually the patient profile and the statistical analysis of that profile. You can have age, gender, BMI, comorbidities, cardiovascular comorbidities. You can have, if the patient's on antithrombotics, and that's important, the ASA grade. The second table is usually on clinical characteristics. So you can see symptoms, duration, examination, investigations. I've also included imaging and biopsy in this table. Okay, the third is perioperative details. How much was the patient hospitalized before surgery? If it's a laparoscopic surgery, the port, the type of port placement, the intraoperative findings, blood loss, conversion to open. If it's a surgical article, then post-operative stay and complications and how the complications were managed is again a very important table. So this is the fourth table in your results, right? So that is how you can prepare the tables. I have given these dummy tables in the book. As I've already said, the cohort series can also be written like an original article. This is the book that we are following. In this video, we have seen the introduction, the 3 paragraphs, and the observation and results part. In upcoming videos, we will see the discussion and conclusion and the material and methods in separate videos, because both of these are very important topics. So please follow this series, because original article is one of the most important article types that you will be writing, okay, in your literary career. So this series is intended to help you understand how this article is formulated step by step. We are going paragraph by paragraph and table by table so that it becomes very easy for all of you to write this article. Thank you.